Why executing a multi-year lease without thinking about what your future plans are for your residential real property might be a recipe for disaster. Hi, my name is Rob Wells. I'm the Landlord Warrior on TikTok and YouTube. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe to our videos. Now, I ran into this situation with a landlord where they just entered into a 2-year fixed term lease with one of their tenants. Highly desirable property in a highly desirable city. I think they were 3 weeks into the lease, right? And I get a call looking at terminating the tenancy, need to sell the property. Owner comes on with the realtor and so forth. Realtor tells me, the things that I've known in the real estate business. Hey, when you're selling a single family home, it's going to be worth more, with, possession, the place being vacant, no tenants inside, that type of deal. And I had to give this owner and the realtor be the bearer of bad news, basically, and tell them, you have an unexpired 2-year lease term. Basically, you're only 1 month into a 24-month lease. The only viable options I see, getting out of the lease is, you're going to have to buy the tenant out. That's kind of where the landlord, was talking about, well, the tenant did X, Y, and Z wrong with the lease. Can we terminate it this way? And, there's always that option. But, with some of these things, it was like the landlord was trying to manufacture just cause to terminate the lease. When you have an unexpired lease, there has to be a material lease violation. And it seemed like this landlord was trying to grasp for straws to, get just cause, basically. And, the moral of the story is, my opinion is, if you got to think about before you enter into these multi-year contracts, because that tenant can insist on staying in the home as long as they're paying the rent and complying with the lease, that type of deal. And now this landlord kind of got burned because they didn't think about, what they were going to do with the property. Their plans changed, that type of deal. So I always caution landlords, think about what you're going to be doing with the property before you enter into some long-term lease type deal. If your plans need to be flexible, you might want to go month to month or sign a 6-month lease or 9-month lease, something like that. So hope that helps out. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Until next time, we'll see you then. Thanks.